our Christian leadership and organizational behavior. Doc Richel, I'm giving you the time now.
Okay, thank you po, Doc. Let me share my screen. Okay po ba? Nakita na po ba yung screen?
Yes, ma'am.
For a while lang. Before we proceed to the class, may request Engineer Romeo Celeste to lead a prayer.
Oh, so shall we bow down our heads for prayer? Our great God and Heavenly Father, we'd like to praise your name, for great is your faithfulness. Thank you, Lord, for the whole day class we have attended for our bachelor and for this time for our doctoral. May we ask you, Lord, that you give us wisdom that we may understand the presentations, that we can apply the same as we perform our activities and roles as chaplain. We bless our professors, give them also the right direction and knowledge that they can impart as according to your will. Bless the institutions, bless Coach Ray and all the professors and every one of us here. Thank you, Lord, for your promise that you will hear all our prayers. All of this I ask and pray in Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you po, Engineer. So
Welcome.
okay, for today's session, we'll be moving on to organizational behavior. So as you can see there,
Pwede PowerPoint po, PowerPoint po, ma'am.
okay, for a while kasi hindi ko Teka lang. Okay, ito. Okay na po ba? Okay na po ba?
Okay, Doc. Okay na, Doc.
Okay. So, sinasabi dito, at its heart, the art of management is the art of managing people. So, nasa sinasabi, nasa puso ng management. So, dito sa ating subject, no? Tayo bang lahat ay mga manager? The art of management is the art of managing people. So for this evening, we'll be talking about how we are going to deal with people in an organization through the OB or through organizational behavior. Okay, what is an organization? So most of us, I mean all of us, we have been a part or we are part of an organization. So what is the definition of an organization? It says here that an organization is a consciously coordinated social unit made up of a group of people who work together on common goals on a relatively continuous basis. So we have here keywords. We have consciously. Hindi yung mga tao na parang hinihila lang. Or parang yung sinasabi ni Coach Ray kanina, ni Doc Ray, na parang nandito pero wala yung awareness. So hindi nagpi-pay attention. Dito sa organization, if we belong to an organization, we are conscious. We're aware of what is happening. What are we joining? What is the purpose of joining an organization? Consciously, and then the second keyword is coordinated. So you can see here, there is cooperation. There is working together of every individual member. So consciously coordinated social unit. It's a social unit. It is composed of social beings, people, but it is made as a unit. People working together, or people, or a group of people which act as one, made up of a group of people who work together towards a goal or a target on a relatively continuous basis. So, hindi pala siya pwedeng magiging organization kung one time lang or parang just in a specific time or a specific period. There should be a continuous basis or relatively continuous basis. Another definition of an organization, it is an entity, it is a group, such as a company, an institution, or an association comprising one or more people and having a particular purpose. So again, we have here keyword, we have group of people and having a particular purpose. So what about an organizational behavior? Often abbreviated as OB. So hindi po yung OB-GYN or sa ano yon, sa yung sa mga doctor na nagpapaanak. So OB o organizational behavior. It's a field of study that investigates how individuals, groups, and structure affect and are affected by behavior within organization. Okay, let me ask, okay, everyone or my classmates, what are the key words or the key concepts that you can find in this definition? Hello po. Yes, give me a keyword, engineer.
Okay. Itong pong investigates po.
Okay, it investigates. Very good. Who else would like to share? Just a keyword. I'm particular with a keyword. Yes, anybody else? Yes, hello po. Yes, okay, thank you. Investigate. So any other word aside from investigates? Sino yung or ano yung ini-investigahan dito sa OB or organizational behavior?
Individuals, yung group.
Groups.
Okay, very
Structure.
good. Investigates individuals, groups, and structure, and how they affect or are affected, their relation, their interrelation with each other, mainly with the behavior of individuals, of these groups of people, and the relationship or the pattern or the structure of these people within the organization. Mainly, it investigates because it is organized. It is a field of study that investigates these levels. Okay, another definition we have, investigates the impact of individuals, groups, and structure on behavior within organization. So as you can see, we have the repeating concepts or keywords. When we talk about organizational behavior, it's all about the impact of individual behavior. It's the impact of group behavior and structure on the overall organizations. The aim is to apply such knowledge toward what is the main target of this investigation or of this study. What do you think is the target or the aim?
Improving the effectiveness of the organization, ma'am.
Okay, very good. That is towards effectiveness. For just like us, right? We are studying, we're continuing with our studies. We are trying to look deeper into the scripture, into dynamisms, into different theories and applications, because we would like to be effective, right? And of course, not just for ourselves, not just for individual, but we are also thinking not just individually, but for our group, for our care group, for our church, and for the entire organization as well. So we are aiming for betterment or effectiveness of organization. The study, again, yes.
Another keyword here, Doc, is behavior pala, behavior.
Yes,
Keywords, yung behavior.
yes. Thank you so much, engineer. Okay, behavior of individual, of groups, and of the structure of the organization. So here is another definition, more or less the same. So we're just trying to highlight the concept. So the study and understanding of individual and group behavior and patterns of structure in order to help what? We are trying to improve performance and effectiveness. This is our ultimate target. Effective performance, better performance, or best performance. So again, what is organizational behavior? It is a field of study that focuses on 3 levels. So we have been talking a while ago about individuals. So there are 3 levels of which are the concerned in this study, behavioral organizational behavior. Number 1 is individual level. So here, it is the role of management to integrate the individual and the organization and to provide a working environment that permits the satisfaction of individual needs as well as the attainment of organizational goals. So as you can see here, we have the spelling of organization, organizational, that's the British spelling of organization or organizational. So British S, then British English, then American English, organizational is the letter Z. So in organizational behavior, we'll look into the satisfaction of the individual members. So we already know that, for example, in our church, the iglesia is the people, is the group of people. But the iglesia is composed of individual people, just like an organization. Okay, as a whole and individually. So we look into the satisfaction of individual by how? By dealing with or by attending to every need of the member or the individual. So another level that is being studied or being investigated in organizational behavior is the group. Okay, people in groups are influence each other in many ways, and groups may develop their own hierarchies and leaders. Group pressures can have a major influence over the behavior and performance of individual members. So a person is not just an individual person, but he or she also belongs to a certain group. And every group also manifests particular feature or behavior. So that is why in organizational behavior, we also study or we also look into the group as a whole. So why do some people do well in organizational settings while others have difficulty? So why do you think? Why are some people doing good or doing well in organizational settings while others have difficulty? Some people, they belong to a group and they are performing better. Well, some people, they belong in a group, but they do not perform well. Why do you think is the reason for that?
It's the individual behavior that cannot be merged with the group.
Yes, that could be. That's correct. So sometimes a person's personality or behavior cannot blend well with other members of the group. Okay, thank you. Any other answer? Hello po? Parang si sir, si engineer yung ano natin dito.
Doc,
Peter. Yes.
with due respect to the idea of engineer, but sometimes organizations fare well because of the leadership. Kahit magkaiba yung personality sa within the organization, but if the leader knows how to deal with each of them, walang problema na magiging matatagpuan sa isang organization. Yun po ang idea ko rin.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Jerry. That's also correct, right? So of course, leadership will also matter. Okay, because that is how you are going to manage to deal with individual members and the group as a whole or in general. So any other answer? Meron po ba? Ideas po, sharing of ideas.
Environment.
Yes, Ma'am sino yun? Ma'am Carmelita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Environment also affects the
So, okay, definitely environment will also impact, or it will also have, it is also one of the factors that affect the person's performance. Okay, thank you so much. So let's proceed. Okay, to the third level. So again, in organizational behavior, we're looking into 3 levels. Number 1 is individual. Then the second one is group. And then the third one is structure. So structure is created to establish relationships between individuals and groups, to provide order and systems, and to direct the efforts of the organization into goal-seeking activities. It is through the formal structure that people carry out their organizational activities to achieve aims and objectives. So of course, if we have an organization, there's always a structure. There are always like positions, assignments, and tasks accorded to each member. So depending also to the qualification or to the leadership of an individual. So that is why structure is studied in organizational behavior, and how it affects, or the pattern of structure affects the entire organization. Okay. So we have here, according to Leonardo Di Vecchio, so he is an Italian billionaire. So owner of it's a factory of glasses, I think. So he said, or he suggests reasons for studying organizational behavior. So number 1 here is, it is important practical applications that follow from an understanding and knowledge of organizational behavior. So here in organizational behavior, we do not just like take in, or we do not just study theories, but there are practical applications based on our understanding and knowledge of the behavior of people, and the ability to deal effectively with others in an organizational setting. So dealing with other people, especially heterogeneous group of people, it will really take you skills to manage them. Then the second one is personal growth and fulfillment gained from understanding our fellow humans. Understanding others may also lead to greater self-knowledge and self-insight. So this is very true, right? So sometimes we can do reflections on ourselves based on our observation, or based on our observations on other people's like circumstances or behaviors as well. So because of that, we will have that satisfaction or fulfillment. And then we have increased knowledge about people in work setting. So primarily, this is all about work, and in work, we cannot just work alone. Perhaps you can work alone, but not all the time that we can do that. So if we have knowledge, more knowledge about the people we're working with, then it will help us to become better, to be like a better performer or a better worker in the business setting. For example, the identification of major dimensions of leadership, just like what we have done last time, we talked about leadership, especially Christian leadership, and the different characteristic of a Christian leader. Then leading to the design of leadership training programs in organizations. So of course, if we know and we have the knowledge of the people around us, then we can have we can design a program which will also positively impact our organization. Okay, OB is for everyone. So sometimes you say, oh, OB is just for leaders or for managers. How about the members? How about ordinary employees? So here, according to our source, OB is for everyone. After all, they often set the agenda for everyone else. However, OB is for everyone. So for instance, many employees have an informal leadership role. They are often expected to move beyond simply providing labor to playing a more proactive role in achieving organizational success. So we can be leaders and managers in our own little ways, right? So that is why OB is for everyone. So even if you are just like an ordinary employee, sometimes managers will also ask our decisions or will also like ask suggestions from us. So thereby making us a part of that decision-making process. So rather than simply following orders, for instance, another example here, we have employees in some retail stores can make decisions about when to accept returned items on their own. So making decision is also one of the things that we study here in organizational behavior. So as employees, for example, ikaw yung vendor, ikaw yung na-assign doon sa counter, hindi kailangan na palagi kang nagtatawag sa manager or sa owner para just to make little decisions. But in our own, like in every assignment that we are tasked to do or to perform, we can have our decision making processes. So that is why we can be one of the qualified people or members to study all about organizational behavior. And OB, for example, not in the business setting, no, or in like the administrative setting, even in our organization, like for example in school or if iba-iba na mga organization, not all the time that the leaders or the managers are the one doing the decision making. So there are times talaga na even members, they can give their contribution to as to how to improve the structure or the performance of the organization. So OB is not just for managers and employees. Entrepreneurs and self-employed individuals may not act as managers, but they certainly interact with other individuals and organization. So another thing that we need to highlight is not just all about decision making, but also all about dealing with people. So in business, in organization, we always deal with people. So that is why knowing about organizational behavior is a big plus for us. In fact, much of OB is relevant beyond the workplace. OB applies equally well to all situations in which you interact with others. So in fact, OB is relevant anywhere that people come together and share experiences, work on goals, or meet to solve problems. The study of OB can shed light on the interactions among family members, the voluntary group that comes together to do something about reviving the downtown area, or many others. So even students, learning about OB is helpful for them. The building blocks of OB. So what are the components of OB? The study of organizational behavior cannot be undertaken entirely in terms of a single discipline. It is necessary to recognize the influences of multidisciplinary behavioral science perspective. So OB is very much connected with different behavioral sciences and other disciplines. OB is an applied behavioral science that is built upon contributions from number of behavioral sciences. So we have here like psychology, sociology, then we also have social psychology actually, and then we have anthropology, then we have economics and political science. These are some of the sciences which are linked together and which influence or impact the study of organizational behavior. So OB provides a systematic approach to the study of behavior in organizations, as well as groups and teams. Underlying the systematic approach is the belief that behavior is not random. So we have here claims on OB. So there are many claims on OB. So let's take a look on the first one. So OB looks at consistencies. So certainly there are differences among individuals. Of course, we are very diverse. Placed in similar situations, people don't all act exactly alike. However, there are certain fundamental consistencies underlying the behavior of most individuals that can be identified and then modified to reflect individual differences. These fundamental consistencies are very important because they allow predictability. Behavior is generally predictable, and the systematic study of behavior is a means to making reasonably accurate predictions. So sinasabi dito na although we have differences as individual, and of course, in even the same situation, we don't exactly like act or think, or we don't have the same opinion about it. Even what do you call that, yung twins, even them, they have differences in terms of handling situations. But then in OB, it looks into the deeper ground or the common ground of behavior, because as we have learned earlier in the earlier slides, that OB is connected or integrated with sciences like anthropology, sociology, psychology, which also study on human minds, human behavior. And then number 2, we have OB looks beyond common sense. So OB uses scientific research to uncover how behavior works in organization. So what do you mean by systematic study? It is the examination of behavior in order to draw conclusions based on scientific evidence. So OB is scientific, it is systematic, it is beyond common sense. It is not just based on opinions or just mere observation, but it is a result of a careful study and based on scientific evidences. If understanding behavior were simply common sense, we would not observe many of the problems that occurred in the society. So, number 3, OB has few absolutes. So there are few, if any, simple and universal principles that explain OB. So as one noted, behavioral researcher concluded God gave all the easy problems to the physicist. Human beings are complex, it's true. Because we are not alike, our ability to make simple, accurate, and sweeping generalizations is limited. Two people often act differently in the same situation, and the same person's behavior changes in different situations. That is how complicated and complex human beings are. So, sinasabi dito no na merong nag-comment na God, or nagsabi nito na God gave all the easy problems to the physicist kasi sinosolve lang daw, then you can have that that precise or accurate answer, but studying or investigating about human behavior is no easy task. And then number 4, you have OB takes a contingency approach. So sinasabi dito na okay, just because people can behave differently at different times, that does not mean, of course, that we cannot offer reasonable, accurate explanation. So just like what we have said earlier, that it doesn't mean that if people's behavior is complicated, is complex, that we cannot come up with that basis or that reasonable conclusions or explanations. We can, right? Because we are connected with different sciences and multidisciplinary approach. So it does mean, however, that OB must consider behavior within the context in which it occurs. So, however, we cannot generalize, but we look into contextualization of a certain behavior. So this is known as contingency approach. So for example, OB scholars would avoid stating that effective leaders should always seek the ideas of their employees before making a decision. Rather, we may find that in some situations, a participative style is clearly superior. But in other situations, an autocratic decision style is more effective. Here we have the OB scholar would therefore try to describe the situation to which his style is suited. So just like teaching, we cannot say that a particular strategy or approach is the best because it always depends on many aspects. Like it depends on the students you're teaching, the kind of students, their background, the kind also of environment, just like what Sir Jerry said. There are many factors. So just like OB, like in investigating or in dealing about human behavior or the strategies, like the leadership styles or principles, we cannot always say that this is the best for all because it is always tailored. It is tailored to a certain people, a certain group. It depends on the context. So contingency approach is an approach taken by OB that considers behavior within the context in which it occurs. So again, OB takes a contingency approach. So we have here sources of research insight in OB. So again, in OB, we do not just make conclusions or just mere observations, but these are rooted from evidences or scientific evidences from field studies in real-life organizations, from laboratory studies in simulated and controlled setting. In case studies are looking in depth at single situation or focusing at a single situation. In survey studies or using questionnaire or the quantitative style or quantitative approach wherein you have questionnaires and interviews for sample populations, and also meta-analysis or using statistics to pull results of different studies. Hello po, nandyan pa po ba kayo?
Yes, Doc. Dito pa,
Are we
Doc.
learning? Are we learning about OB?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So OB exposes you to a systematic analysis of behavior. So if we can really focus and study on organizational behavior, then it will really help us to be systematic in analyzing behavior. So for a while. Okay, sorry, my kid. All right, so in the belief that such analysis will improve your accuracy in explaining and predicting behavior. Okay, so here's the question. How does knowing about organizational behavior make work and life more understandable? So how will it benefit us? How will it help us? At the workplace, managing people well pays off. Doing so may also lead to we will have this organizational commitment. We use this term to describe the degree to which an employee identifies with the organization and wishes to maintain membership and in the organization. So this type of commitment is also called affective commitment. So when we say affect, it's talking about your behavior, your emotion. So you are emotionally inclined, you are emotionally committed to the organization. Employees who are highly committed go beyond expected behaviors to provide extra service, extra insight, or whatever else is needed to get the job done. So, sinasabi dito no na pag alam natin yung organizational behavior, pag na-apply natin, how can we apply it in our workplace, right? So of course, if we can manage the organization well, this can lead to organizational commitment or effective commitment of our employees. Yung kahit like for example, kahit hindi natin sila pinupush or kahit sinasabi na, okay lang natin mag-overtime. So yung iba, dahil meron na silang effective commitment, sinasabi nila or okay, sila na mismo nagsasabi, boss, kailangan natin tapusin to. Oh, it's already time. To hindi, tapos natin to, boss, kasi para ma-achieve natin yung yung target natin. So, yung ganyang scenario is one of an example of an effective commitment. Okay, minsan sinasabi na, for example, sa mga teachers, oh, uwi na kayo 5 p.m. kasi wala nang overtime. Wala nang kanang overtime pay, ganun. Kailangan mo nang umuwi. Pero yung mga tao, yung mga teacher, like for example, teachers or mga workers that they have this effective commitment, then they will go extra mile. They will give extra service or even extra insight for the company or for the institution. There is some concern though for extreme organizational commitment. Of course, it will also have like the downside, no? Like for example, in Japan, as I have studied, one of the negative culture in Japan is that grabe sila yung pagka-workaholic. Kailangan tapusin nila kahit wala silang tulog. So there are many incidents in Japan kung saan namamatay talaga yung mga workers kasi they're so stressed, walang tulog, and of course, the mental or the physical degradation no ng body natin kasi we lack sleep. So isa 'yon. So isa rin 'yon. Then another one is yung unethical behavior. So for example, napaka-passionate to protect the image of the company or para magiging like for example, top yung company, they will go like the extra mile thing na for example, mag-spy sa ibang company para malaman yung mga strategy nila para hindi sila ma-outwit or ma-outsmarted ng ibang company. So yun yung downside ng effective commitment. So kailangan lang talaga yung balance dito. Okay, so again, we do the recap. Organizational commitment is the degree to which an employee identifies with the organization and wishes to remain with the organization. So this entails loyalty. And then effective commitment is the strength of an individual's emotional attachment to identification with and involvement in the organization. Okay. So, according to Aris Kaplanis, President and CEO of Toronto-based Terranit, my perspective is that the company has two assets. One is the customer, the other is our employees. So, both of these assets have to be service. So, di ba, merong kasabihan na the customer is always right. So, meron tayong parang they are in the pedestal yung mga customer talaga. Dapat binibigay yung napakagandang serbisyo para sa customer. But according to one of a successful CEO and president of a company. Another one is the employee. So we have to make sure that the employees are also satisfied and they are happy with the company's services. Okay, for a while lang po ha. Okay. And then we have importance of studying OB. So it gives all of us more insight into how to work with others and how to prepare to become employees in the 21st century workplace. So one of the objectives of this textbook, that we're using, is to expose you to systematic analysis of behavior. So in studying OB, we can have this systematic analysis of the behavior in the belief that such analysis will improve your accuracy in explaining and predicting behavior. So understanding OB may also help you behave better in organizations and groups as well. So OB considers that organizations are made up of levels. So we have known that one, no? The individual level, the group level, and the entire structure or the organizational structure. So each level contributes to the variety of activities that occur in today's workplace. The three basic levels are like building blocks. So each level is constructed upon the previous level. So of course, like a group is composed of individual person, and the entire organization or the structure is of course composed of different groups or different departments. So group concepts grows out of the foundation we lay out in the section of individual and so on. When we look at the different levels in the organization, we recognize that each has challenges that can affect how the levels above and or below might operate. So we consider the challenges at the individual level, the group, and the organizational level. So dito naman, we are going to tackle about the challenges at the three levels in an organization, because certainly there are some like hindrances or problems that may arise at each level. So at the individual level, managers and employees need to learn how to work with people who may be different from themselves in a variety of dimensions, including personality, perception, values, and attitudes. So in individual differences. So here, one of the challenges at individual level is individual differences, because of course, again, as we all know, people, we really have differences, like in our characteristic, in our personality, in our background, in our values and inclinations. These characteristics are essentially intact when an individual joins an organization. And for the most part, there is little that those in the organization can do to alter them. So the moment you hire a new employee or a new individual, we cannot change. That is parang embrace him or her kasi yun na siya. So if there is little, then there might be. But of course, that person is composed of that. Yun na talaga yung kanyang, like yung kanyang pag-iisip, yung kanyang like the EQ, like that many things about that person. So we cannot do something, or there might be little that you can do to alter them. So yet they have a very real impact on behavior. In this light, we look at perception, personality, values, and attitudes, and their impact on individuals. So, people enter groups and organizations with certain characteristics that influence their behavior. The more obvious of these being personality characteristics, ito na yung kanina, no? These characteristics are essentially intact when they join an organization. So again, one of the challenges is yung individual differences. Another one is job satisfaction. Employees are increasingly demanding satisfying jobs. The belief that satisfied employees are more productive than dissatisfied employees has been a basic assumption among managers for years. So, of course, it also matters yung kapag ang yung mga employees, yung mga trabahante ay hindi na satisfy sa kanilang sweldo, sa kanilang trabaho kapag meron ng like pressure. So it will also affect at the individual level. Like for example, in our case, like for the teachers like us. So recently or like these days, nowadays, marami na sa aming mga kasamahan yung abroad. Tapos every time meron kaming like my cousin or my friends or friends from the other district or from the other school, every time that maririnig namin yung nandun pala siya sa parang masasabi namin na kasi maganda yung niya, greener pasture, yung sweldo nila is talagang there is a very like the difference ba ng salary. So sometimes it can affect people like parang hindi na satisfied sa kanilang job and because they're thinking na mas maganda siguro na mag-abroad na rin ako. So parang ganun. So definitely it can impact or it can affect the performance of a person if satisfaction is not met. Okay, another one is motivation. So, an Angus Reid survey showed that 29% of employees do not feel they receive fair or reasonable rewards for the work that they do. So, an example of this is like, for example, like our OIC, then our principal is about to retire, then most of his work or tasks are not he's not the one doing his task, but the OIC, the officer in charge, and us. Sometimes we are the one to liquidate the MOE and all the works, and then we do not even deserve, like we were not even given like salamat or thank you or mag-snacks naman kayo kasi kayo yung nagpupuyat. Para ang na-receive namin is just like comparing us to other teachers or sinasabi niya na nung ako pa sa panahon ko parang ganun ba. So merong mga ganong situations that I've experienced or even probably you also experience like that in your work or in different fields you are in or stations. Sometimes it will lead to parang hindi ka na talaga motivated na mag-work. So of course, your motivation will also have a direct effect on your performance, and of course it will also have a negative impact to the overall or to the organization's performance. And then empowerment. At the same time that managers are being held responsible for employee satisfaction and happiness, they are also being asked to share more of their power. Decision-making is being pushed down to the operating level, where employees are being given the freedom to make choices about schedules, procedures, and solving work-related problems. What is happening is that managers are empowering employees. Empowerment means managers are putting employees in charge of what they do. In the process, managers are learning how to give up control and employees are learning how to take responsibility for their work and make appropriate decisions. The rules for both managers and employees are changing, often without much guidance on how to perform these new rules. So, isa din to, empowerment is something positive, but sometimes if we could not, parang hindi natin na-organize or hindi natin nabibigyan ng line or ng limitations kung hanggang saan ka lang, talagang meron yang challenge para sa organization. Like sometimes, like I can relate that to also in teaching dito sa aming school. Like merong iba na sinasabihan na uy, parang siya yung principal number 2 kasi siya na yung nagdi-decide. Parang hindi na niya na yung hanggang saan lang yung kanyang freedom or kanyang responsibility. So, meron talagang mga instances na ganun yung mangyayari kapag yung empowerment, yung pagbibigay mo ng freedom para to make choices for the employees will not be properly given or properly like hindi mo talaga na-organize yung hanggang kailan ka lang, hanggang saan ka lang pwedeng magdi-decide for the company or for the organization. Another challenge is behaving ethically. In an organizational world characterized by cutbacks, expectations of increasing worker productivity, and tough competition in the marketplace, it's not altogether surprising that many employees feel pressured to cut corners, break rules, and engage in other forms of questionable practices. So iba, kadalasan, para lang maka-reach ng quota, merong ginagawang yung mga ibang mga paraan para lang ma-meet yung target nila. So, isa rin to na challenge sa individual level ng isang organization. Dahil ito sa pressure, so dahil meron silang kailangan, again, yung aim or yung target individually. So sa company, meron silang like the vision or the mission or yung overall natin na vision or overall natin ng mga objectives, pero individually for a specific task as an employee, meron din tayong individual na like target or quota. So again, sometimes yung iba is natitempt na gumawa na lang or mag-cut corners, mag-break the rules para lang ma-meet like superficial or like a facade na pangpakitang tao lang na meet, pero deep inside hindi pala yun yung maganda, hindi pala yun yung tamang gawain. And then we have, so we're done with the challenges at the individual level. So can somebody give me a particular challenge at the individual level? Hello po.
So,
Marami po tayong pinag-uusapan na challenges. Magbigay lang ng isa.
differences po, individual differences.
Okay, individual differences. Aside from engineer. Hello po. Baka nakatulog na yung iba. Nasaan na yun?
Yung pong workplace, ano po ba? Pwede.
Kung
Yung at the workplace.
800 grams yung kay Sir
Yung
Boy.
environment, pwede po ba yan?
400 grams lang daw yung kanila.
Environment. Ano po yun? Meron po yung mga specific na mga challenges.
Behavior nila, halimbawa po, medyo mainit yung lugar nila ng pagtatrabaho, parang hindi sila makapagtrabaho maigi. So, it's also a challenge, di po ba?
Yes. Pwede natin yung idagdag. Yes, ma'am. Okay, meron po ba yung mga na-discuss natin earlier? Okay, so yung behavior natin ethically, na-challenge, empowerment, ano pa? Motivation, job satisfaction, and yung individual differences. Okay, let's move forward. Challenges at the group level. The behavior of people in groups is more than the sum total of all the individuals acting in their own way. People's behavior when they are in a group differs from their behavior when they are alone. Tama po ba? Yung people's behavior when they are in group differs from their behavior.
Individualist. Opo.
People's
Okay.
behavior when they are in a group differs from their behavior when they are alone. Tama po ba? Agree po ba kayo dito?
Yes po.
Yes, yes do kasi kapag
Yes,
iba naman
bakit
yung
po?
pag-uugali mo pagka sa group ka syempre medyo behave ka kasi ayaw mong makita yung talagang ugali, di ba? Yung talagang ugali ko. Pero once na nandun ka naman sa sarili mong iba din yung behavior mo, di po ba gano'n?
Yes, thank you po, Ma'am Adorable. Talaga po, kasi sometimes we tend to blend, no? Para bang, parang ang saya-saya nila, sumasaya na rin ako. Or parang, ang tatahimik naman nila. So, parang you're just being observant or talagang gano'n, no? So sometimes, meron talaga mga situations na ganyan. So therefore, the next step in developing an understanding of OB is the study of group behavior. Kasi nga, sometimes merong differences between a person's behavior individually as compared to the person's behavior when he or she is in a group. So what are the challenges? So number 1. What is number 1?
Working with others.
Okay, working with others is a challenge to work with other people. Much of the success in any job involves developing good interpersonal or people skill is a challenge, especially if you are introvert or parang hindi ka interpersonal na pagkatao. Yung sa MI ba, sa multiple intelligences, parang intra ka, more on self ka, hindi ka pang interpersonal. So it's really a challenge. In fact, the Conference Board of Canada is an example situation. Identify the skills that form the foundation for a high-quality workforce in today's workplace as communication, thinking, learning, and working with others. So working with others is really one of, so dapat na skill ng isang employee. Pero pag hindi ganyan yung personality mo, isa talaga to na challenge, working with other people, especially working with other people with different culture or different background. So isa talaga yan na challenge. Workforce diversity. That's number 2. Organizations are becoming more diverse, employing a greater variety of people in terms of gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and age. We used to assume that people in an organization who differed from stereotypical employee would somehow simply fit in. We now know that employees don't set aside their cultural values and lifestyle preferences when they come to work. So sometimes we tend to think that if they are blended in that group, they are formed in that group, or they are assigned to the group, that they just simply fit in. But here we know that we always bring our individuality with us, like our culture, our lifestyle, our
Sometimes po,
personality. Yes, ma'am. Yes po, ma'am.
may racial discrimination minsan sa yung mga cultural values, lifestyle po minsan.
Okay, that's true po, okay? Especially working abroad, no? So, parang, like for example, yung like few years ago, yung parang Asian hate, na meron na talaga sila na bias or discrimination pag sinasabing Asian, or in other culture also. Like, working in a diverse group is really challenging. Like for example, my friend also who worked as a teacher in the US, na-share na hindi talaga, like sometimes we think, wow, ang ganda na lang situation nila, ang like it's something greater than our situation, but talking to them, it made me realize that it's never easy to be working with other people, like in other country, abroad. It's something new. Isang challenge talaga, especially for newbies. Okay, so next we have challenges at the organizational level. So OB becomes more complex when we move to the organizational level of analysis. So even if we're analyzing it individually, it's never easy. How much more if we move up to the level of the organizational level? Just as groups are not the sum total of individuals, so organizations are not the sum total of individuals and groups. There are many more interacting factors that place constraints on individual and group behavior. So napakarami talaga na mga possibility, like mga naka-affect sa overall na function ng isang organization. So an organization or group is productive if it achieves its goals and does so by transferring inputs. So the inputs are the labor and raw materials to outputs. So finished goods or services at the lowest cost. So ito yung sinasabi natin na productive kapag nagagawa natin yung yung target natin. So for example, ano yung target is maka-produce ng mga liniment oil. So anong yung kanina kay Doc Aris. So from the raw materials, nagagawin natin siya na into products. So at the lowest cost. So we can say that we are productive in doing that. Productivity implies a concern for both effectiveness. Effectiveness is achieving the goals, and efficiency or watching the cost. The late management expert Peter Drucker stated that effectiveness is doing the right thing, while efficiency is doing things right. So, alin po ba yung mas maganda dito? Ano po? Classmates.
Hmm.
Okay. Alin dito yung mas
Ayun.
maganda, yung effectiveness or efficiency? Which is better, yung effective ka or efficient ka?
Itong dalawa po, Doc, hindi pwede ito mag-separate. Kailangan talaga ito effectiveness at efficiency. Hindi ka stand alone. You have
Okay.
better. Ito kasi
You have
po,
to be
para din
effective.
yung parang sa log frame po, itong inputs, outputs, yung tingnan mo
Yes,
yung log
yes.
frame sa isang project, ganun din ang dating.
Okay, so engineer is saying that effectiveness always comes with efficiency. So kailangan talagang parallel silang dalawa, side by side.
Yes po. Tama.
Okay. So doing the right thing and doing things right. So for example, a hospital is effective when it successfully meets the needs of its patients. So it is effective when it meets the needs of the patients. It is efficient when it can do so at a low cost. So sinasabi nga kanina na efficiency is more on the costing. Okay, the costing. If a hospital manages to achieve higher output from its present staffs, say, by reducing the average number of days a patient is confined to a bed. So, sinasabing you are effective if you can hit the target attending to the needs of patient, but you're efficient if you offer that service in a lower cost. So, productivity is a performance measure including, tama si engineer, na isa kang productive kapag nandyan yung dalawa. So, effectiveness and efficiency. So, effectiveness is the achievement of goals, while efficiency is the ratio of effective work output to the input required to produce the work. So, developing effective employees. This is the next challenge. One of the major challenges facing organizations in 21st century is how to engage employees effectively so that they are committed to the organization. Yung kanina, di ba? Ano yon? Yung organizational commitment at yung effective commitment is a challenge. It's a challenge for the organization na they can yield that kind of employees who are committed to the structure or to the organization. We use the term organizational citizenship behavior. So there's another term, organizational citizenship behavior, to describe discretionary behavior that is not part of an employee's formal job requirements, but that nevertheless promotes the effective functioning of the organization. So there's a certain behavior that although it is not part of the requirements or yung sinasabi na ano ba yung mga responsibilities ng mga employees, pero nonetheless they can help pag itong mga behavior ay na-exhibit, can help in the functioning of the organization. So recent research has also looked at expanding the work on OCB to team behavior. So they're applying this one in a team. Successful organizations need employees who will go beyond their usual job duties, providing performance that is beyond expectations. In today's dynamic workplace, where tasks are increasingly done in teams and where flexibility is critical, organizations need employees who will engage in good citizenship behavior. So, again, this is related to if employees have organizational commitment, if they have affective commitment, then they will go more. They will have this, ano yan, yung behavior na OCB. Ano nga yung OCB? The organizational citizenship behavior. So according to, okay, this is the third challenge of the organizational structure or the structural level, putting people first. So according to Professor Jeffrey Pfeiffer of the Stanford Graduate School of Business Advocates, that managers should spend more time recognizing the value of the people who work for them. So it's really important to be like, you get to know the people you're working with. The people like below your strata or below your position, you have to know them. He emphasizes the need to put people first in considering organizational objectives and suggests the people first strategy not only generates a committed workforce, but also significantly affects the bottom line. Pfeiffer notes that research shows that when organizations concern themselves with developing their employees, they are more successful. So how can a company or an organization achieve success? That is through prioritizing the workforce, prioritizing the people first. So put people first. But this is a challenge for like the leaders or the administration or to the managers, because sometimes with the leaders or the managers will tend to look at the effectiveness or the efficiency or to the output, disregarding the emotion of the people. Like for example, in school, sometimes pag sinabing pwede po ba na mag-absent kasi merong kailangang puntahan o personal matter, or merong for example, a real talk to teachers, like kailangan po namin na mag-reloan, ganun. Tapos sasabihin ng person, hindi pwede kasi. So the teacher, of course, wala na yung motivation. Wala na siyang gana na mag-teach. So naapektahan yung kanyang performance. Whereas, like for example, yung leader na alam niya paano niya ma-attend yung need ng mga employees niya. So, of course, sasabihin din ng employees na, okay, ang bait naman ng ng principal or ng leader na naintindihan niya yung situation ko. So, of course, sasabihin niya na kailangan kong pagbalik ko, kailangan galingan ko, kailangan ipakita ko sa kanya na worth it yung binigay niya na chance or na opportunity sa akin. So, ganyan yung yung success ng isang organization pag inuuna yung tao. Then, global competition is another challenge. Global competition. In recent years, Canadian businesses have faced tough competition from the US, Europe, Japan, and even China, as well as from other companies within our borders. To survive, they have had to reduce cost, increase productivity, and improve quality. So of course here, the leaders or managers or employees will also have to think about strategies on how to compete globally. Like even here in the Philippines, we have lots of businesses, lots of like entrepreneurial na mga like franchising and also if we start with a business, we have to think something which will be enticing or something something new, something which will have mas lower yung competition natin all around. Like feasibility study tayo, tinitingnan natin ano ba yung mga businesses na marami na dito sa ating community. Like for example, refilling station. So of course, gumagawa ng feasibility study or survey na meron na bang mga refilling station dito. Kapag marami na, so might as well think of another business na mas yung iilan lang yung competition or yung pinakamaganda yung wala kang competition. And then we have managing and working in a multicultural world. So the same with workforce and diversity, no? So holistically looking into the overall organization, it's never easy to manage a multicultural world. So there are like cultural shocks or adjustments or gaps between employees and even with the bosses or with the administration. 20 or 30 years ago, national borders protected most firms from foreign competitive pressure. So that was before, but now we have this relationship with countries. So they have established many organizations from like organizations and businesses or like foreign investment. So they can have their companies here in the Philippines. We can also have companies in other countries, but of course there are rules to follow. So it's difficult to be in that company and even to be in the managerial position and to be working with a multicultural company or institution. And then we have the internet. Like now we can actually work with other people through the power of internet, like what we're doing right now. We're having this class even without personally attending or personally be or physically be present, but just like companies, so they can also have, there are many companies actually that they're doing businesses using through the internet. So this is one breakthrough in that, though also it is a challenge. So by opening up international sales and by increasing opportunities to current business, even small firms can bid on projects in different countries and compete with larger firms through the internet. An implication of all these changes is that you can find yourself managing or working in a multicultural environment. So, okay, another implication of this, if you are doing it online, you can be working with different people. And of course, you are going to manage with different people and different culture or different people with different backgrounds as well. So just like what Doc Ray said earlier, that there are rules or there are changes or revisions in the rules, like in the rules of the scholarship and all, is because that's part of how Doc is managing this school or the institution or the organization. So it's really difficult and it's challenging to be working with different individuals. So summary and implications. What is organizational behavior? We talked about that. It's a study that investigates the impact of individuals, groups, and structure. Then another one, we also look into the different levels. So there are 3 levels that we studied. So let's just summarize this one. No? So we look into the 3 levels: the individual, the group, and the, what's the 3rd level? Wala po.
Professional.
Okay, the organizational or the structure level. Okay, and then the challenges. So there are challenges. In each level, there are corresponding challenges. Okay, productivity is critical. It has become essential to develop effective employees who are committed to the organization. So ano nga po yung yung formula ng pagiging productive? Ano yung formula ng pagiging productive?
Efficient and effective.
Okay, we have effectiveness and efficiency. Okay, formula ng productivity. Then, okay, so this time, I will be giving you, but I will just be sending it through the GC. Yung sa ating GC. Meron tayong GC, di ba? Okay, so you will be working individually. Meron kayong aansweran. You're gonna answer the activity more on evaluating your skills, then your strengths and your weaknesses, and then you will also be analyzing your answer, and at the same time, that would be three sets of activities. So, stop sharing. Wait. Okay. Hello po. Okay. So,
Ilagay mo yan sa GC lang, Doc.
hello, engineer.
Kaya mo lang yung sa GC, yung
Oh yes,
activity po.
isi-send ko lang Doc yung engineer yung mga yes, future Doc na pala, sabi ni Doc Ray. Doc na, Doc. Kasi engineer, tatlong syllable yun ha. Nakakabulog eh. Minsan sasabihin ko na lang ing. Doc. Okay, so I'll just be sending it to RGC, then you can just also send your answer through sa GC na lang. Sa GC, pwede rin i-PM nyo na pero makasend ba kayo sa akin ng PM? Doc Romeo. Hindi ako maka-add ng friend kasi I've reached the 5,000.
Ay, ganun.
Oh, kaya
Malaki.
so
Sa
I
GC
needed
na lang,
to
Loro.
yes, I need more time kasi i-unfriend ko na yung iba kasi marami tayong friends na hindi talaga natin friends, di ba?
Hmm.
Okay, so kailangan ko pang mag-unfriend ng yung mga iba
Sige
para
po.
ako maka-add ng friend. Pero anyway, you can send your answer to the GC po.
Sige po.
Doc, I have a realization, Doc.
Okay, yes, Doc Jerry.
Thank you.
Let's
You
share the
made
insights. Yes.
you made mention of yung business that you want to establish, but the
Yes.
market is already full.
Yes, Doc.
In the Philippine context, parang wala ng new business, Doc. Kahit magbenta ka
True.
ng puto, kinabukasan may ano ka na, kompetensya.
Yung sa sa neighbor mo, silingan.
Oo, silingan. Benta ka ng saging, kinabukasan meron na namang nagbebenta ng saging.
This part of our
So,
culture.
oo. So siguro ang nakikita ko ngayon, ayun yung customer service na lang.
That's true.
Kung sino yung maganda ang offer na service, doon pumupunta yung mga customers. So doon nag-come in yung effectiveness and efficiency of the organization. Kaya palaging may training yung mga empleyado about customer service. Sa atin nga, sa DepEd, kahit ngayon, meron na tayong customer satisfaction survey.
Yes.
Minsan nga nakapagtanong ako, bakit kailangan ng teacher na fill in na yung mga karamihan ng bisita niya bata man. Minsan-minsan lang may pumupunta na na parent, di ba?
Yes.
Pero yun ang ano ngayon yun ang trend. Kailangan pag may nakaharap ka, kailangan all smiles. Then satisfaction talaga ang gusto nating ibigay sa ating client. Yun lang po ang na-realize ko, Doc.
Wow,
Salamat.
thank you, Doc. Yeah, that's true, right? Put people first. The asset of a successful company. Ang sa ganito, ano yon? Naalala nyo pa? Yun yung asset ng isang successful organization. Yung customer at yung employees. Okay. Okay, who else would like to share? Realization, learning, realization. Meron sinabi dito si Ma'am Carmelita na it's healthy. Competition is healthy. So that's true also. Kasi you are challenged to move beyond. Yung sinabi ni Doc Jerry na kailangan mo pang galingan yung service mo kasi maraming competition. Yes, Doc Juven is raising his hand.
Kanina po yan, madam. Kanina po.
Okay, okay. Ako yung magtatawag. Sino ba yung mga estudyante natin? Yung iba, mga sit-in, di ba? Si Ma'am Sherlyn, sit-in. Si Ma'am Sherlyn. Okay. Okay, ito si Doc Daniel Domingo. Hello po.
Hello.
Yes, Doc.
Kapapasok ko lang, nauli na ako. Ang sa akin naman, pagka yung tama nga sabi nga nila, kung meron kang katabi sa mga business mo, siguro pinakamaganda yung service mo. So, pakita mo yung yung kalinisan ng ng shop mo, yung service mo. Tapos kung halimbawa restaurant, pare-parehas na restaurant, siguro pakita mo na lang na tawag nito, yung pag-serve natin hindi lang sa pag gutom ba sila, kundi yung lifetime effect nung yung nakain nila. Halimbawa, nagsiserve ka nung pagkain ay kasi maraming mga restaurant ngayon ay mga kakarne, mga tataba, ayan. Kung katabi ka naman, siguro magandang yung sa'yo naman ay yung may magandang lifetime effect yung kuwan sa tao, sa health nila. Hindi lang yung satisfaction nila, di ba? Gano'n ang hinahanap kasi ng tao ngayon, marami yung satisfaction nila pero marami din yung naghahanap kung anong effect nung nakakain ko, di ba? Kaya kung meron ka no'n, pwede mong itabi yung restaurant mo, yung service mo doon sa tabi-tabing restaurant kasi naiba ka naman, iba ang service mo. Yun yung akin kasi parang na-experience ko yan.
Okay.
Kailan mo yan, Doc?
Thank you, Doc. Yeah, that's true, no? We are health advocates.
Yan.
Yes, Doc Romeo Celeste.
Doc, mag-share lang Doc yung experience ko yung nasa gobyerno pa ako. Kasi may propose kami magawa ng bagong organization. I chair the OD, what we call Organizational Diagnosis. We studied the structure, requested the different offices to submit their plantilla organizational structure, the functional and their proposed. So with that, we see to it the actual working force and the ideal working force. And we see the function of this department. So finally, we were able to have that reorganization in our province, considering all the factors in putting the right person in the right position. Yun po, very good.
Yes, that's true po, no? Thank you so much. You have really a deep knowledge on this structural organizational structuring of institution, Doc Romeo. Really need your insight.
Thank you
Yes,
po.
Doc. Okay, thank you everyone. I think overtime na po ako. Doc Ray. Hello, Doc.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much. At let's have a break for 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes at 7:30. We will start our class in journalism. Nandiyan na po ba si Doc Hernandez? Wala pa rin? Okay.